Hello, my fellow grounded pounders. I'm joined here today by my beautiful girlfriend.
Hello.
I'm going to be looking at Into the Breach again, a phenomenal game that that I really treated myself to. And I played about 2 months ago,
I remember this.
or a month ago. Yeah,
I'm confused.
yeah.
I thought we were going to play a different game.
Nope. I actually told you what we were going to do for once. I said this, and we're going to play my favorite game. You've already seen it.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought it was a different game.
Nope, no, no. So the reason why we're not playing Zelda
Yeah.
is because that requires a lot of capture software
Mm-hmm.
that I just don't have. And before, I never thought I'd need it because Nintendo was kind of scary because they'll just take down your stuff. But they supposedly they recently did some Nintendo thing
Mm.
where they lifted their Hitler-like ban on everything.
Okay.
So a fantastic company, but they just don't understand. They're Japanese based, and they don't have this Western philosophy that these videos actually boost sales.
Right.
They more so think that they're just ripping off content. But so bigger channels could partner up with them and give them like 80% of their income from the videos. And keep in mind, like YouTube takes 50, so God knows what people get from it. When all those percentages are taken away. But now, maybe I'll have to invest in that stuff to show you.
Mm.
But I actually, there's nothing more satisfying than playing this game. So, um, it is just so much fun to pull off these
Mm-hmm.
moves. Um, and that's what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you one campaign. The one picky thing that I would say about this
Mm-hmm.
is that at the end of a game, I really like to. If you're going to be a fantastic game, I would really like incentive to. And let me show you the strategy right here. I need to level up the flying unit right here.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to damage these two guys slightly with this big guy, and then use him to use push damage to destroy both of them.
Oh.
So the one that gets the kill XP,
Mm-hmm.
the kill experience points, because you get bonus points every time you defeat a unit.
XP?
Yeah, experience. It's just,
Oh, okay.
it's shortened term for it. But so I was trying to boost that flying unit. But my one gripe with this game is that at the end, when I've completed all the achievements, I, I want a reward that just is stupid. That just makes the game easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt like I deserved. Like, I wanted a unit that, like, launches a million missiles every turn, you know?
Uh-huh.
Um, and kills everything on sight. And instead, when you finish this game, you get 3 crappy units. I mean, I did every achievement. Like,
Right.
if it said, play this game on February 14th, I did it. I did all this crazy crap that this game. Defeat a unit while doing this. Defeat a unit while being in the snow and
Right.
being at half health. And save the train. Save this. Do this without getting hurt. I did it all. And as a reward, I just got these mechanical flying units that mimic the bugs, but they're not really the bugs.
Oh, okay. Well,
And I
that's
was
not
like, that's
bad.
cool to be the enemy, but I'd want to be overpowered to be the enemy,
Mm-hmm.
not the crappiest versions of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And until you level up this flying unit, he's kind of garbage. And then he becomes good, but then it's kind of like, forget it at that point. When I really beat a game, what I really want is to feel, you know, overpowered at the end of it. I want to feel like I just want to have fun with it at that point.
Right.
Obviously, if I've beaten all the challenges, I'm above that, so I should get treated. And yeah, so I was very, very disappointed by that because
Mm.
again, I should have really have gotten a unit that just is stupid, you know. But whatever. And that's no. Remember Has Been Heroes? Remember
Oh
that
yeah, of
fantastic
course.
game?
Yeah. I can
Um,
picture them right now running across
yeah,
that intro there,
yeah,
like where they're all running.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so my gripe with that game is I recently showed that to my little relatives,
Mhm.
and I thought hey, it's easy. And then I played it recently again, and I went, my God, this was actually pretty darn difficult.
Oh
You really
wow.
need to get in the hang of it. And even the kids, they're like, wow, you're really good at this game. I'm like, no, it's really simple. You just need to think about it. And I mean, they were getting the hang of it.
Mhm.
They're smart kids, but you just don't realize some stuff until you're at a different point later. But anyway, um, so I know sometimes we're all worried about the decisions we make and if they're the right choices. And this is actually a perfect time to talk about it because in this game, the plot is
Mhm.
that you're a time traveler and you're going to all the different timelines. So let's say there's 80 lines written on
Mhm.
this screen right here, all going straight down. Imagine each of them as different timelines, different versions of you.
Mhm.
And this plot of this game is to go to this timeline, this timeline, this timeline, and save them all. But
Mhm.
sometimes you die and screw up, and
Mhm.
that timeline is done with then. They have the worst timeline. So sometimes I think, when I'm in a bad mood and stuff, I go, is this the worst possible timeline I'm in? Am I the worst version of myself? And for you, um, and for the special people out there that listen and subscribe, but seriously, for the important people out there that are wondering that, you can't think like that. You've got to realize that whatever life you are living and whatever choices you've made, those were the best choices you could have made at that point. And it can be and will be the best timeline. You can rise above, you know. So whatever choice you've made, that was the right choice. And that's how you should really live. That was the right choice and the only choice for you at that point. Because it's easy to look back and go, I should have done this. I
Yes.
should have done this. But guess what? Wherever you're sitting at right now, that's how I think you should live. And that's why I wanted to talk about that to you. Because it's actually kind of perfect time.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I think that's really very common to look back and sort of, should I have done, and whether you're applying it to life or a game, should I have done. But, you're right. It's like it was the either like the best decision or the best you could do at the time. And if I learned from it,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
Good. Well, okay.
No, I do. It's actually a really interesting thought. It's
Cool.
very interesting way to think about things.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's easy to beat yourself up and stuff.
Right.
Don't do that. I want you to sit back, relax, and know that whatever's right now is how it was supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that it can get better. It might involve some work. It might involve some tough times,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't screw up. This is what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's really good.
You know. So sometimes I try to help myself and think of it that way, and I hope it helps you and anybody listening.
Definitely.
Um, and my one gripe with Has Been Heroes is still the same. I I really got annoyed how they kept adding an entire map. So I like beat the game, beat the game, beat the game, and instead of it staying the same, it always added another map. And at one point, I swear I had like 6 or 5 maps that I had to beat. And keep in mind, if you screw up once during
Mm-hmm.
any of those maps, you start over. I do not want to be playing a game for 4 hours
Oh my
to
God.
screw up
No.
for 1 second. And I'm actually I'm like a masochist. I would be totally fine with playing for an hour or two and then being screwed over. But anything over 2 hours, absolutely not.
Yeah,
2 hours is even
that's
pretty difficult.
very unforgiving. It's harsh.
That's this
It's
game.
discouraging
It's
too.
extremely discouraging because listen, I was extremely good at Has-Been Heroes, and I unlocked character after character, but there was just a point where I was like, this is too stressful. I'm playing for 4 hours because I pause it all the time and think what's the best option. And as I showed you, at some point you always see the Matrix, which now you get that reference.
Yes, I do. I'm finally among the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I saw the Matrix.
But
I'm probably the last person in the world to see it.
now you get the phrase though at the end when Neo sees the Matrix. That's he suddenly understands everything. Similar to the 2001 A Space Odyssey, where Space Baby is at the end. That's his knowledge of everything, his transcended mankind. But anyway, yeah, and I have a really fun ability on this guy right here, the rocket guy, that he can attack, which makes the rocket like such a powerful unit. Because normally the rocket can't attack what's next to it, but I gave him this mantis driver, and this mantis can like his special ability is attacking whatever's next to him. So it turns this relatively, you know, medium powered unit to a powerhouse. And that's, so, I had fun mixing and matching, but honestly the game should have done something that was really cool. And this game is a perfect example of doing it right. Whereas Has-Been Heroes made you spend 4 hours, this game I can finish in an hour or two on the hardest difficulty and unlock stuff.
Yeah, so you can feel a sense of like accomplishment, but enjoy it. It takes a little bit of stress out of it. You're
Exactly.
like enjoying
You know,
it.
this at the end of the day, it's supposed to be relaxing and a form of enjoyment. And I like putting harsh, um, you know, restrictions and like rules or whatever the hell word I'm looking for on me. But even me, it's a little much to be like, right? So for the next 4 hours, if I screw up or blink once, I will lose everything and have to start over.
I know.
And even this game has a reset button, so if you do screw up, you can just hit this reset, and it resets the turn. It doesn't reset the whole level, it resets the turn.
Yeah,
it's still challenging. It's still challenging.
Right.
But it's not masochistic.
Yeah.
You know? What's the word for when you chew?
When you chew?
Yeah.
Masticate?
There we go. I was just making sure that I wasn't saying chewing this whole time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway. So, this right here, what we're watching, is a playthrough of my favorite moments of a campaign. I created my own team of, mechs, and I pretty much cobbled together all of my favorite moments. And because I like these videos to have some sort of conclusion at the end. Again, my main motto when playing this game isn't that, you're playing to win. It's you're making the best out of a bad situation. And anytime I think like that, I always fall literally like in love with this game.
Oh, that's fine. That's really fine.
This is all me thinking up what would be the best move right here. Because there's push damage, there's regular damage, sometimes you're just trying to survive a turn, and sometimes your buildings are going to get hit. And this game is a very punishing game too. Lots of people find it too hard. I don't know why. I do know why. That sounds really cocky. But
But aren't there different levels you can play on? Because you play on usually the most difficult.
yeah, but yeah, I'm just tired of reading things on the internet because I'm always looking for like this game to come to other platforms besides PC, so that I have an excuse to play it again and unlock all the stuff.
Yeah.
Because when you truly love a game, I've I honestly have thought it on a separate thing just so that I can have an excuse to unlock everything again. But you know, I just get annoyed when I read all these things about these journalists that are just big babies, and don't whatever.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of like, we want everything like, instant gratification. And it's like, to have a little patience to figure things out.
Mm.
You don't mind doing that, but a lot of people do.
And that's why I really love games, because I can tackle something new every week. And I mean, think about it, babe. It has broadened your horizons, and it sounds silly, but think of the vast array of games that I've shown you up until this point. I remember I sent you an email a long time ago that said there's many different genres.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that sounds pretty intense. You're being very nice. You're like, let's talk about anything else. But yeah, that is very nice.
No, I remember that.
And now you've actually seen them. I mean, I've shown you Catherine, a weird puzzle story game. Remember?
Yeah, I really like that. Remember that?
Yeah. I showed you Mass Effect, a kind of shooter story game.
Yeah.
We've gone through Oxenfree, which is a chilled out mystery story game.
So you're saying all of the ones I really like.
And then there's these puzzle games and then there's, like there's Farmvilles too, and those are okay, you know?
That's a little more mystery.
Well, it used because that's where you're comfortable. That's what you've been playing for a few years.
Yeah, but I think we've all witnessed me play. Let's be realistic.
Well, again, you didn't pick up a controller until I put one in your hands.
That is true.
So it's not. If you give anybody a new tool, they're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
And honestly, if we ever do get capture software, I wanted you to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Because I gotta tell you, no matter what space I'm in, and no matter how crappy I feel, or who I'm playing with, or who I'm showing, my little relatives, myself, you, hopefully, it's so whimsical and charming. And I think that's one of the biggest things about Nintendo. I was gonna say, can charm the pants off anybody. But that's definitely not what I was going for. Like, my brain finished that, and I was like, whoa, brain. Thank God I'm talking slow. But I said it anyway. You're welcome. So do you see this right here?
Yeah,
this is the final level.
Oh.
And I'm in the final area. And I kind of just showed the highlights of my campaign up until this point, or from a few campaigns. I don't know, it doesn't matter. All that matters is I had a lot of fun each time, and even when I lose, it's all because I need to get reacclimated to the team's different strategies, and just a fantastic game. But anyway, The Legend of Zelda is so whimsical. I really would love for you to be transported.
Yeah, I would love to too.
Because I'm telling you, it's so effing charming. Every time I turn on the Switch and I see Zelda and Mario swinging his hat, there's a comforting thing that you don't get from PlayStation and you don't get from Xbox. They're so charming. The music that they've always, they've really branded themselves, and it's interesting now because they're trying to get away from that. Only kids play this, because it's not true. But they've always had a really family friendly. And in the recent years, when a lot of gamers have grown up and still been gamers, it's hurt them more than it's helped them. Um, so they're trying to introduce really more third-party games that are like shooters and
Mm-hmm.
mature. But at the end of the day, any first-party brand, like they've got this game called Animal Crossing that I actually bet you'd really love.
I feel like you've told me about that or
Yeah.
showed me. I feel
So,
like I
so
know that one.
you have a little character. Hopefully, at one point, you'll be able to customize your character more because you can customize what they wear. But I don't think you've ever been able to customize their face. But honestly, I've only played one of the
Mm-hmm.
games. It's a really chill game. You're usually the mayor of a town, and I think I don't even know too much about it, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
They randomly generate, I think, the townspeople that live next to you. So, like, you could have Fox living next to you, and they could be called Bill, and I could have a fox living next to me that could be called Stacy. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and
Mm-hmm.
they might look different too.
Oh, that's funny.
So like it really tailors, like, and you might have a fox, a panda,
Mm-hmm.
and a bear, and I might have a gazelle, a
Mm-hmm.
rhino, and a cat.
Yeah.
And you run your life, and you just help them out on their days. You plant trees, you chop down trees, you get,
Mm-hmm.
and every single time I play one of these games, they're just so charming. Um, let me, like, there's one character in The Legend of Zelda that just plays a little song with maracas
Mm-hmm.
every single time that you get an upgrade. And in Mario, um, there's so many charming moments. Just, anyway. So I guess we'll have to try that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll see if I can get some capture software or something.
Right. Sounds good.
But
Sounds fun.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's still the same amazing stuff. And one thing that really annoys me about this new character that you
Uh-huh.
unlock in this game is that he's the driver of it is still like an enemy. So do you see every time I click on it,
Yeah.
it's got this bug dude at the bottom,
Yeah.
and that's because the driver is a bug. So like you've got the enemy working for you basically.
Oh, okay.
But then at the end, you never save him. So like if you beat the game properly and the bomb goes off and destroys the hive
Mm-hmm.
that the insects are in, then you get teleported to the next timeline. But you always leave this dude behind
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
because he's the enemy, I guess.
oh,
And
okay.
because, probably you're worried that the infestation would just grow again because
Oh,
they're bugs.
okay.
But it just see what I'm saying? They could have just let like a dude man that instead.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't even want the technology or something.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I don't. And
Because like you earned it, so it feels like it should be part of what you take with you. But that's the catch that maybe it would cause problems in the next level.
yeah,
So.
yeah. And it's funny because this minimalistic way to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you build a game that's so good, because a game isn't a movie, a game is its own beast. You can still enjoy it if its
Mm-hmm.
story doesn't answer all your questions. When if you go to a movie and a story doesn't answer all your questions, you're like, this movie sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But a game, on the other hand, and see right now I'm checking the order because it matters if the environment goes first or one of the enemies because I could push one of the enemies so that they hit themselves rather than these buildings. And if they hit the buildings, everything goes to hell.
Hmm.
What was I talking about?
Well, we started talking about the next level. You couldn't take what you were and the bug guy that you controlled for the enemy.
Yeah. It's very early in the morning.
It's
And I
and it's
slept
snowy.
4 hours.
I know.
So, but yeah. So yeah, I'm actually choosing to leave this guy right here, I think, because he's not going to be rescued anyway, so what's the point? I need to protect this bomb for one more turn, and rather than have my guy get hurt or the buildings get hurt, I'm just going to defeat my guy on my own because there's no point in saving him,
Right.
which is, which I think is kind of messed up.
Yeah, now that you're saying it,
See,
it
look, I
doesn't.
let him get taken because he's not going to be saved anyway.
Yeah. Well, I guess those are the tough decisions you have to make, right?
Oh, the minimalistic story. That's what I was
Oh,
talking about.
okay.
It's so interesting because people put a lot of time and energy into figuring out what the story could have been, like I just did. I'm pulling stuff out of my butt right now. I'm making crap up. Technically, I don't
Well,
know why the hell we can't play as this dude or he can't
right.
be
Well, you
saved.
just sort of try to figure it out,
But that's what I'm saying. When it's a game and you love it,
Yeah.
there's other reasons to love it besides the story. So then you sit down and you think, this, that, and that. And that's what people do with Zelda. I think Nintendo just made a bunch of cool games,
Mm-hmm.
but people play these games and then they go, wait, is this the first Zelda or is this the second Zelda? Which
Mm-hmm.
one came first? And Nintendo's like, you know, like we just made a cool game and then we made a cooler game, you
Yeah.
know. And you know, let's pretend let's say they had different strategies or whatever, like they knew that a timeline was going. But I honestly think they're just trying to make the best game every time.
Yeah.
But instead, people have cobbled together a timeline of this Zelda happens first, and when you build something that people love so much, they'll search for that story.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fascinating because whether it's Dark Souls and they're, you know, cobbling stories together from items that they find off dead people, or I'm cobbling stories because I don't get to save somebody, I'm guessing that they're doing it on purpose. It's just,
It sparks imagination, like you want to figure things out.
it's just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fascinating with games that this happens. Anyway, and now I'm just showing, I finished the level, we saved humanity, and now it's time to end the video. Is there anything you'd like to add, comment, say?
Um, well, it's nice to be back.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to have you back.
um, no, that was really. I know you really like this one, and we saw it before, and it was just fun listening to your thoughts on it. Always makes me think and appreciate it more. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, and have a good night.
Good night.